This was like amazing graphics at the time. And now it's like, if you had this in your live gameplay, you would be laughed at. When it comes to the cutscene, for helping you have a vision of the world, they started with the ideal. Now we know that the people aren't supposed to look like these Popeye things, and so any switch from that is a little bit more acceptable. Even though Cloud looks like this, we sort of know Cloud doesn't look like this. People are so hot, let's write endless fanfiction. That one guy with the bulbous Popeye like joins us. Like, you mentioning that, it's a little bit of the topic of the stream. You kind of take the opening cutscene as this is how the world looks. So that's starting with the ideal, so people think of that first. But, I mean, another thing that I think of with this whole thing is it doesn't matter if it's actually one way, just that it looks that way. And game dev, like, there are all sorts of tricks that are still used. Like, there's, where you don't actually have real lighting. You might have a box in the game, and rather than having it so that you have lighting so that one side is darker than the other, you just have it so that, oh, we're just going to have it so that we have this box and we're going to actually darken the side of the box so it looks like there's shadows here. Baking shadows. That's how games have been done for a long time. That's how this game totally is, with like all the images used for the backgrounds and the foregrounds. Like, there's not much that's actually 3D when you look at it. But it doesn't really matter if it's actually one way, it just matters that it looks that way. I mean, really, when you think about games as a whole, it's all an illusion. These are 2D images made to look 3D, and that's just the way it be. There's so many different ways that they're like showcasing the characters. Like, you got these images of the character, and then you get out of here, and you got little poly people, and then when you end up actually going into the battles, they look different still. If you're making a game, and you cannot have it be the highest quality version every time, you can have it be different as long as what it represents can be clearly inferred. And so if you have to switch things out in different places so that it looks not the same, you want them to associate it with the highest level, with the representation of this is what it actually is. You kind of have all these different kind of things that you can look at for, hey, I have limitations in my game. I can't reach this level that I want to. How can I work with it? Well, one thing, start with the ideal. If you can't have a lot of high quality graphic stuff, at least have like an art, like maybe you're like not great at drawing anime style and you want to make a game that has anime style. So what you could do is that you could have it open with an image of what you want people to imagine when they think of these characters. Kind of an ideal. So you can start with that, and then that way people will imagine that as the ideal, and they can carry that over a bit in their interpretation. Even though they're seeing the other images, they kind of interpret the other. Also, think about ways that you can kind of spoof things looking better. It doesn't actually have to be that way. You don't have to have a lighting system. You just have to have a dark polygon over here that looks like a shadow. And also, you can have it be different as long as what it represents can be clearly inferred. If you can't have a high fidelity character everywhere, you can't have it at the level that you want it to be. If you can at least have a good representation and what it's supposed to be can be inferred, people can still kind of think of the better version and you can still get away with it. Faking it is really all about what are your limitations and how do you work within them. And that's something that I think that a lot of starting game devs don't want to do. They want to make something amazing. They don't realize their limits. They aren't aware of them. They aren't aware of here's what I practically can and can't do. But I know a lot of starting game devs, it's like, I want to make an MMO, and they're thinking World of Warcraft or something. And you kind of have to look at your limitations. So there are 3 lessons in faking it. Start with the ideal, so people think of that first. It doesn't matter if it's actually one way, just that it looks that way. And then you can have it be different as long as what it represents can be clearly inferred. What up? I'm Josh Paulison. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And if you're really interested in getting in live on these streams, then you can follow me on Twitch at Josh Paulison. And let me know if there are any specific games you'd love for me to study. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.